I believe in stakeholders' interest in reality. So we will always focus on the good governance, and we will keep the profitability, and we will be socially relevant in this particular field by making a real difference to the structure's quality that we are contributing to.
Welcome to Sunday Investing, to our Know Your Promoter series. We have with us Mr. Eldo Varghese, promoter of Teamtech Formwork. His company's SME IPO will be opening very shortly. Welcome, Eldo ji, and thank you so much for making the time. It's a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much for the time that you are taking for us.
Certainly, sir. So maybe, this series is called Know Your Promoter, and I think a lot of the investors want to know the man behind the company. So it would be lovely for you to just start by introducing yourself. How did you get into this business? What motivated you to bring this company to this stage, and what is motivating you to take this, make this even bigger now?
Okay, all right. See, I entered into this formwork industries through a European company in 1998. It was about 20 years. I worked with some companies outside, and I came to India and operated the company for about 10 years. Then I decided to move on and start on our own. Of course, I'm not alone. There is a team behind it. So I came and started. The Teamtech was established in 2018. We've identified some gaps in the industry, so I thought we will be able to contribute something to India.
Very nice. So the company that you worked for before, did that have something to do with the same business that you are in right now?
Yeah, they're also from the formwork field for sure, but
Okay.
Products are different, segments are different.
Understood.
There are a lot of differences in the operation style as well.
Understood. So your background is basically in this process. So maybe it's a good time to just explain what is formwork. I think people may have seen it sometimes, when you pass a construction site, but it'll be helpful to just explain what formwork actually is.
Yeah, formwork is nothing but a mold, Rohit. It's any RCC structure. If you want to construct, you will have to have a mold because it's in the liquid form, right? And earlier days, if you see, the concreting mechanism was a bit different. It was quite traditional method. Right now, it is all done with the concrete pumps. So the speed has improved. You will have to put a lot of pressure on the mold. So it has to be a proper mold in place. So the formwork is nothing but a mold.
Understood. And these molds are used to hold the structures in place while that cement or concrete or whatever is setting. Correct?
Exactly. Okay. Until it gets into the shape and it is self-standing, we can say.
Self-standing. Understood, sir. So then, can you explain what the business does? Do you just sell this formwork? Do you, what I've seen your RHP, and I think you operate in a few different ways. Can you just explain that to our listeners?
Right. You're talking about the revenue streams that we are in.
Yes. What is your business model?
Yeah, so we manufacture everything ourselves. We don't outsource anything. We manufacture based on our particular designs, whether it is regular formwork, which is called modular standard formwork, and even if it is standard, the customized formwork, we produce it ourselves. We sell it, and that is our major revenue. We can say around 72% of the revenue comes from sales. And then it's a rental model is available. That's only for the standard formwork. Wherever you have regular shapes, say rectangular or square shapes and all, you will have to use a regular dimensional stuff.
Right.
So it's modules. So that we give it on hire, which is around 26-27% for the previous year.
Okay.
And there is a refurbishment also into it, because whoever buys this formwork will have to refurbish it because it's a sustainable model. You will have to again extend its life.
Right.
So that back and we do the refurbishment. These three revenue streams that we have.
Understood. And refurbishment is something where you buy the used formwork from say the person who has already purchased it from you. You'd buy it back at a lower level and then you will refurbish and then resell it instead of manufacturing.
Exactly.
Understood.
No. Even if their own formwork, even if it's their own form, they wanted to extend the life, then they come back.
Understood. Okay, it's all like a service. Understood.
It's a service.
Understood, sir. So then your rental model will have a very different kind of I'd say business rhythm and business cycle compared to your selling? Because when you sell, you are selling and you don't really bother about that product. But when it's rental, you have to make sure the product is, you're retrieving the product after it gets used, the product is in good condition, etc. So the two will operate slightly differently, right?
See, we really bother about product even after
Okay.
supplier,
Okay.
because that's what is giving the mileage to the customer, and the application makes all a lot of difference for the customer,
Right.
right? So we really
Right.
care even after selling it. So we have a post sales engineering team to take care of it. That is also
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Uh, so sales, the ownership is getting changed for sure. But I mean, if you really want to travel with the customer for a long duration, we really need to take care of the product's quality, whether
Makes
it's
sense.
the rent is going to be same. So rental, we are doing it for the two main reasons. One is like whenever you want to have a recurring income, that's what you do, right? You buy a apartment, put it on rent, and try to get some rental revenue. The same thing is in this case. And second one is whoever cannot afford to buy, it's a capex item. It is a
Correct.
equipment,
Correct.
investments. Some budding construction companies, the general, say B level, three C level companies cannot afford to buy everything into their inventories, right? So they will always prefer to take it on rent, and then they will realize the value of it, and then they convert it into sales. They will try to keep it for 6 7 months, enjoy the real usage, and give it back to us. That is also possible. That's how the model works.
Understood. And what is your typical yield when you rent it? So if your capex is how 100 rupees, like how much do you charge as rental and how fast you recover the cost of the item?
Yeah, it's normally the payback period in our case is about say 12 months, I can say.
Oh,
But the
interesting.
detailed calculations cannot be revealed, so that's there.
Understood. Understood. But 12 months is pretty impressive. And the life of this product would be how long? Like how long can you reuse this product?
Yes, when we are using the imported plywood as a surface, it can be used for about 4 years. And the
Okay.
surface has to be replaced after
Replaced,
that,
yeah.
those 4 years. It has to be replaced, but the frame, which is steel anyway, so steel
Correct.
cannot be
Yeah,
like
that can be used
damaged.
for a very long time. Yeah.
It can be used for about 2 decades.
Wow. Understood. Understood. All right. So can you just help us understand who some of your clients are? I know you work with a lot of the big construction companies. Can you just give a sense of, how concentrated your clients are and who some of the major clients are?
Yeah, sure, sure. It's more than happy to share that. Of course, L&T construction has changed the whole scenario in which we are doing the business. L&T construction is part of our journey for last, say, 6 years now. And we have got some rate contract signed with the L&T because they trust us very much. We are doing a lot of challenging projects for L&T.
Okay.
And L&T gives us about 35% of the revenue that I can say, I can confirm right now. And nevertheless, like Shapoorji Pallonji, Tata Projects, Sim India, in Hyderabad, any builder you name it, all of them are our customers. So we were concentrating more in Hyderabad market in terms of the building segment. So that's why we all the customers are part of it. There is Patel Engineering, there is Dinesh Chandra Agarwal, pretty good names in the clientele, and it's not about big or small. It is about whom we serve, right? So whether it is a small company or big company, we put the same efforts and we try to resolve their challenges. That's our role. So we do our duty in that way.
Understood. Understood, sir. So you mentioned one thing, which is you said you work on very complex projects for L&T. What does that mean? Because a lot of the form work tends to be standardized. So when you say complex project, what changes?
Oh, Rohit, the kind of projects that is coming up in India, it's very, very, very challenging, I can say.
Okay. Okay.
Now, a couple of projects I'll just mention to you. One is from Assam to Meghalaya, that is called Dhubri to Fulbari.
Okay.
There is a bridge coming up, which is going to be the longest bridge above Brahmaputra, and it is about 20 kilometers long bridge, which India can be really proud of. It's a 6-lane highway in which pier table, which is very, very special structure, and with a lot of nitty-gritties in it. Like it's not just a square or rectangular. There is a curvature in it. There is some slope in it, some projections in it. So we have done a magic over there. So that was very, very challenging project. And say our bullet train project, if you say, it's about 530 kilometers from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. So
Right.
you can imagine where the bullet train is going to be run, and it's going to be like 300, 370 kilometers of speed. So your structure has to be accurate, it has to be precise.
Right.
So we were part of that challenging project. There are many to name. Very interesting phase of construction is happening in India.
Got it. So then can you just see, maybe the way we understand the segment is a lot of standard kind of formwork pieces you would use. But what you are saying, let's say for the bullet train project, are there like a lot of customized formwork models that you guys are designing, engineering, and then manufacturing? Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. See, if you see the revenue as such, maybe 20% of, maybe 15% of the revenue comes from customization. But see, when you are in a field of a specialization, you're trying to resolve some challenges, like somebody's problems you are trying to resolve, right?
Correct.
So when there are pain points are not normal, right? Pain points are always irregular. So irregular shapes, if I can solve that pain points, then definitely the regular ones will come to me because they will trust me, right? So that's what we see happening. It's happening in the same way, like 15%, our 80% of time we are focusing on the 15% or 20% challenge. And naturally 80% comes to us. That's how it works.
Makes sense. No, makes sense. You have a niche, you have that complex thing because of which you're getting the rest of your business, but that complex thing is what brings customers.
Yeah, Rohit, the catch is like if you're giving the 80% which is regular as a separate product, and if you're giving the customized product as a separate one, which cannot be integrated or which cannot be compatible, then it's a different story. But when you make it to compatibility, bring it to compatibility, that's where you win. That's what we do in the market.
Understood, Eldo. That is very clear. See, one question that almost everyone has when they see your P&L is that your margins are fantastic. You operate at almost a 20% plus PAT margin, which shows that you're obviously making something unique. Now, what is the reason for that PAT margin? And can you highlight that in context of the competition that you have? Because I understand that you're also one of the very few domestic players in this full sort of end-to-end manufactured formwork business. So can you just put these two things in context?
Yeah. See, as an Indian company, there are a lot of advantages we have for sure, because the labor, the cost of labor that we have, all those areas are really available for any Indian company. And our competitors are mostly European companies, foreign companies. They're all privately held companies. So you may not be knowing the margin they are earning. So I don't want to touch that area. But our intention is to maintain the margin so that we can serve a large set of people, right? So we will always try to maintain it. So maintaining that, it doesn't mean that you are overcharging the customer. You are not looting any customer. There is a marketplace already available, and we are trying to be competitive with the pricing. We are just trying to charge little, 15 or 20% lesser than the existing product, but still making margin. So there is something there, right? So we are doing a disciplined execution. We are trying to control the cost of production, and our team is putting extraordinary efforts in it. So that's how it moves. It's not like we are just trying to overcharge the customer. It's nothing like that. We really want to maintain the profitability. Unless and until you maintain, you can't really scale up the operations, and you can't really get the whole set of construction companies in India. It's a large market.
Understood, sir. One quick question on this. I think you also had some tax credit or a tax exemption that you had for a few years. Can you just tell about that? And will that continue into was it there in FY26? Will it continue in FY27, FY28 also?
No, Rohit. It's a tax exemption. It's as an innovative startup company, we are eligible for 3 years of tax exemption. It can be it is for 5 years duration, but you can charge only 3 years, right? So while we grow, our intention is always to keep the cash flow in tight situations. So we don't want to pass on the cash flow. So we took that facility in the initial for 3 years itself. That means it was over in 24, 25. So we have taken that credit. The mat was available. The mat is getting adjusted in this financial year onwards. It was a great help from the government side that we could maintain our cash flow and grow
Right.
positively.
Right.
But onwards, we will have to pass on the tax, and tax is part of our game anyway.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
part of business in the country. Understood.
yeah.
But going forward, your P&L will be normal with you will pay the normal 25% tax.
Yes, 25%
Corporate
tax
tax.
will be there.
Understood, sir. Understood, sir. Now, so can you tell me a little bit about your capacity today? What is the existing capacity? How many pieces, or whatever it is, the metric with which you measure your utilization? What is that today? And then what are you using the IPO funds for? Is it to really ramp up your capacity at the new technologies you're introducing? So can you just walk us through this?
Yeah, sure, sure. It's like currently we are producing about 36,000 square meter. That is the range that we can produce with the current facility. And it is almost at the neck level now. We have closed about 90% utilization, so we can't do anything further in that particular facility. So we assumed it. We expected this to happen. So immediately we have started. We have backed. We have purchased a land from Telangana State Industrial Board, and we built our factory over there. Factory construction is done with our own funds. Now, initially we thought we will go with internal accruals and continue to do the same. And our plan to get into the IPO and all by 27, 28. So 2 years we are traveling ahead in reality. So that facility, we really want to change the production practices a little bit, improve the quality, and the speed is the most important aspect for us.
Okay.
So the productivity will be increased by 3 times by doing that. So we are bringing up some robotic fabrication machines in it, powder coating. Currently, we are doing spray painting, so we'll have to move it to a powder coating, which is more economical and more environmental friendly. I don't want to put our people into exposure in with concerns. Then we are bringing more CNC machines, which will speed up our activity like anything. So in a sense, like it's complete an expansion effort, but this is not going to end here. This is only one facility that we're creating at the moment.
Right.
One more will come up. That's going to enlarge our facility by another 3 times. So say from 36,000 we are going to 100,000, and from 100,000 it will become 300,000.
Wow. What are the timelines for both these facilities? For the first one that will come, and then the second one as well?
First one is supposed to be operational from 1st October 2026, this year itself. So we are expecting half the revenue coming from there. That's what the plan is. So next year it will be full year revenue from there. And then immediately we'll be starting up the next one. So 60-70% utilization, then you really need to jump into the next one. That's it.
Understood, sir. What is in your view, what is the risk in your business? What can potentially go wrong? And I know mean things like, okay, your facility gets delayed by a few months. I mean like, core structural risks that you see it in your business.
Risk wise, what I can really count is now recently there was a international scenario that was a risk. And other than that, if you're really doing everything in a structured manner and in a steady manner, I don't think it's a big risk. Of course, anybody can get into the field, so competition is always welcome, and we love competition. With such a small company, India cannot really cater its particular field. There may be many players coming in. So my take is like we will have to travel a bit faster than anybody else comes in, and we will have to be larger in that sense. We should be the model. We should be the dominant player in the market, so that we can actually pave the way for the industry to grow in a very different pace. And this is all about transformational journey. So there is a mindset change of mindset is required. We allow to push that mindset into the new practices. That is one thing, and it is a disruption as well. But it is not a sudden disruption. It is a what we can say evolving disruption. So it takes its own time, and by doing that, we will be able to convert the traditional practices into a better method. So there's a large space available. So there is no major risk as such. Of course, you need to take care of your cash flow. You need to be disciplined, be sense of the business.
Got it. Yeah, I think today probably formwork is the equivalent is probably very low quality, or more like wooden structures and so on and so forth. I think probably as India transitions to using sort of organized material formwork the way you guys make it, I guess that is the sort of mega trend that you guys are trying to catch. Understood, sir. So if you can just tell us a little bit about your numbers now, just a couple of quick questions. One is, how much did you guys close, FY26 at? What kind of margins, net margins did you have, and your final PAT numbers? And without giving specifics, how do you see FY27, FY28, going forward?
Yeah, so that's pretty clear because we already audited our balance sheet, and we are going to IPO with the final balance sheet only. It's
Yes.
hardly 2 months we had in our mind, hardly 40 days we had in our mind, but we still completed all our financials so that we don't give any wrong picture to anybody.
Right.
That was the intent. So that was done on 30th itself. We signed the financials also, and last year the revenue was 54. The previous year was 33 crores.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a 65% jump, and we are trying to continue the same trend for next 2 years. And the bottom line is not, it's pretty good. I can't say it's bad, not bad. It's pretty good. We have achieved about 21.5%. It's about 11.5 crores on the bottom line. 11.5 crores. Next year I'll keep the same. We wish to keep, and we will continue to focus on that area.
Right. Understood. No, those are very, very impressive numbers. Can you tell us a little bit about your working capital cycle? Generally, what is the working capital days? What are receivables like? What are the inventory that you guys hold?
If I say in a general scenario, it's about 90 days.
90 days, okay.
90 days, because there are certain material coming from outside, some international markets, for which we will have to make our payment well before the production itself. So that counts, and shipping time is another factor that counts too. And the collection side, most of the companies pay in 45 to 50 days time. There is a production cycle again involved in that. 90 days is mostly the schedule. It keeps changing. It is dynamic because it's a project-based business, right? Sometimes the project comes in, and you will have to keep on delivering your material on a sequential manner, unless and until the customer achieves a proper sequence. They won't be able to pay. So there is a cycle involved in that. But we are working on the cash flow, the recovery cycle to be much faster than that. We are bringing a system in place. Our team is working on it. There are 4-member team directly involved in that focused area right now. And I think the coming years will be much better in the collection cycle, I can say.
Understood. Is there any plan to tackle the export market, Eldo?
We are already in exports. We have started exporting to Bahrain and the UAE market.
Okay.
UAE, since we were getting a good number of inquiries from UAE, we started a subsidiary company over there. It is just a registration that we require because we allow to get the vendor registration done in that country to operate it. So we have done a registration there, and we started exporting our product. And last year, I think, around 20% of the revenue came from the export market as well. And it's a pretty good market. Currently, we are operating in a penetrative mode. So we are not changing the pricing pattern or anything. We are just trying to export and get into the market and try to spread over. But once the market gets matured, we will be able to do a better job. We don't have any team over there right now. I'm the only person who goes around and just meet the old connections, the network that I have, and I take the orders, and then I just pass it on to my team. They execute it. That's how it works. Right. Gradually, we'll be building a small team of people over there, and probably getting a warehousing facility. Okay. So that's in the time. It will come in the timeline, like maybe 6-7 months or 1 year.
Understood, sir. So I'll just ask you to leave our listeners with like a final statement. You're going to have shareholders now. A large number of shareholders now for the first time as a public company. Is there anything you would like to say as a final word for them?
Yeah, sure. I'm really proud. The whole team is proud. My colleagues, Mr. Salim Raj is R&D and Technical Director. Mr. Chaitanya Prakash is Operations Director. We are all veterans in the field. They have a lot of experience to share to India. That is for sure. And we are not really an owner-centric company. You can trust in that sense. We have passed on to the team. There is a big layer coming up. We are building leaders here. We are only the vendors. We are the vendors, right? So we are really trying to build a very big team. The name reflects the same. It's a team tech, and we are just trying to shape a concrete future for everyone who is part of the journey. It is not just something related to the concrete. I'm saying a concrete future for everybody who's part of the journey. I believe in stakeholders' interest in reality. So we will always focus on the good governance, and we will keep the profitability, and we will be socially relevant in this particular field by making a real difference to the structures quality that we are contributing to. So I'm really happy that I got this platform to express myself on behalf of the whole Team Tech. We are coming up with a big story for sure, and stay tuned. Let's travel together for at least 2-3 decades, so that you will see a very big journey coming up.
Fantastic, fantastic, Eldo. That was wonderful. I'm glad that you are, I mean, you have such a large vision. So, just I will kind of recap and wrap it up. We have Mr. Eldo Varghese from Teamtech Formwork. Their IPO will be opening in a few days. So please keep an eye out for it. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and wishing you all the best for your journey as a public company. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you, viewers.